everybody, I am Jarrett Ross, the Genie Vlogger, and welcome back to another Professional Genealogist Reacts. On today's video, I will be reacting to Investigation puts Ancestry DNA kits to the test among sets of triplets from Inside Edition. Now, I'm not quite sure what to expect with this. Being Inside Edition and a big news organization, a lot of times they don't really get things right, and especially the way they're putting it, test among sets of triplets. My guess is that they're gonna get the test back, see that the admixture results aren't exact. There's always a 1% margin of error, so even if you put your same DNA through it multiple times, it'll come out slightly differently. We've seen it in programs before, like the CBC program most especially, which, you know, that was one of the first videos that I did a reaction to where I really was like, I hate this video and I hate the way that all these people are putting it. And so I'm just hopeful that this isn't going to be the same thing. I'm not really going to say anything else. Let's just go ahead and jump right into it.
Millions of people buy DNA test kits, curious to learn what their genes might reveal about their ancestry. But how accurate are those kits? Well, we tested some of them using identical triplets and quadruplets. Lisa Guerrero has the results.
Millions of people are buying these home DNA test kits.
Here we go.
So we got to wondering, how accurate are they? What would happen if, for example, triplets took the tests? You'd certainly expect them to have identical ancestry.
I think they'll be the same. I think it'll be the same.
So we found a set of identical triplets.
We have to have the same DNA.
Erica McGraw is the daughter-in-law of Dr. Phil McGraw. Her husband, Jay, is the executive producer of TV's The Doctors. Erica and her sisters use the popular test 23andMe. All they have to do is spit in a cup and ship off the samples.
Move your arm out first.
We also tested the Maynard triplets. You may remember them from their appearance on American Idol.
It's a raining man. Hallelujah.
We sent their swabs to a test kit company called Family Tree DNA.
Okay, cool. So they're doing a couple of different companies. Although it'd be cool if they did multiple tests for both sets of triplets and quadruplets, or triplets, yeah.
Let's go. And these identical triplets from New Jersey used a kit from Ancestry DNA.
Oh, cool.
It happens.
We even added in this rare set of identical quadruplets.
In the wake of your smile.
The singing Pie From quads from California.
Their ancestry should be absolutely identical.
The results are in. The first stop is...
The way they're already wording stuff, I can already tell it's going to be like, it's not exactly the same. How can this be? Oh my God. And it's just, it's kind of the same old stuff. When is this from, actually? Okay, 5 years ago. So I guess this was probably right around when a lot of these kind of hit pieces were coming out. Like, they thought they were so smart. Like, oh, look at this. It's not exactly the same. And then we're going to get some sort of scientist on here that's going to agree with us and make it sound like this is a scam almost. Which, you know, like I said, it's a 1% margin of error. So even if you have triplets do it, you're going to have the 1% margin of error. Then, after already going through that with the 1% margin of error, then it's analyzed through the algorithm. And then that algorithm may change how it reads things just because of that 1% margin of error. Because remember, it's reading like 600 to 700,000 SNPs, single nucleotide polymorphisms, which are basically just genetic markers on your autosomal DNA. And that's how they are able to tell your ancestry, by different strings of SNPs making segments, which they then can correlate to different population groups. So when you have a 1% margin of error with 600,000 SNPs, then you're looking at 6,000 SNPs that are just read incorrectly, and those can be all over the DNA where the misreads are, and then that can change it where certain things look like something else. She looks like she's ready to say something. Let's see what it is.
It's the set of the TV show The Doctors, where I'm going to reveal to Erica McGraw and her sisters the results of their ancestry. I was joined by the host of The Doctors, Dr. Travis Stork.
About the great Inside Edition DNA test.
You are all 99% European. But the test from 23andMe also showed some surprising differences.
For example, Nicole,
wow.
you're 11% French and German. But Erica, you're 22.3% French and German.
Wow, that's weird.
And Jacqueline, you're 18%.
But now I wonder if they will actually show if they're matches, because that's what matters. It's not the admixtures. The admixture part is very unreliable, and literally just because of that 1% margin of error, it can really change stuff, as you can see. So my guess is that if they were to look exactly all the SNP readings from one sister to the other, they'll probably see about a 1% difference. And that's what's equating for all of this stuff. But when they look at how much DNA is shared between all of them, my guess is that it's going to show exactly that they are identical. So hopefully they show that.
Because we came from the same DNA egg and we have the same DNA, how our ancestry is a little different.
We sure wondered the same thing.
Well, guess what?
Let's see how the Maynard triplets did with their test.
Same
from
thing again.
Family Tree DNA.
According to the kit you took, these are the results.
They all showed British origins.
It's so dramatic. Such a typical news segment type of thing. It's so funny. All right, these are your results. Rip.
But how is it that the range was so different? Aaron had 59%, Mandy 66%, and Melissa 70%. And how is it possible that Mandy showed 6% Scandinavian ancestry, but her...
All the people that watch me all the time, I'm sure you're all thinking the same thing. It's that typical Northwest European mixture. So basically because of the errors or whatever, and the differences then in reading their DNA due to those errors, because of the similarities between a lot of the Northwestern European groups, which they seem to be a lot of British Isles and all of that, it's probably misreading a lot as Scandinavian. So one of the issues when reading is the issue of that the DNA is unphased. So basically at every spot you have, one nucleotide from one parent and one from the other. So you'll have an A or a T or a C or a G. But these tests can't tell apart whether the A or T at that spot came from your mom or your dad. So sometimes what it does is it'll accidentally take different markers from your mom and then take markers from your dad and think those are actually coming from the same parent and thus are a segment. And because of that, that's how you get these big misreads when it's trying to figure out algorithmically I'm glad I could actually say that how it is. And that's basically what it is first they have to read each spot. Is it an A or a T or a C or a G? And then once they read all of those, that's where you get that 1% margin of error where they accidentally read an A as a T or something like that. And then it goes through the algorithm, and then that has its own errors. So then it amplifies it. So that's why you're getting this. And then it makes sense that you'd get population groups similar to the other population groups that you would have possibly expected, because a lot of them share certain population ancestry, and so they're sharing a lot of those different SNPs, and that's where a lot of the difficulty in reading is. So, all right, let's continue. There's only like a minute and a half left.
Identical sisters showed none.
That's weird. I don't like it.
It's the
one
exact
result, no result at all.
Must be a
DNA
scam.
that they tested.
Is that a little
Oh my God.
disappointing for
Very.
Not everyone was disappointed in the results. The Ancestry DNA test used by the New Jersey triplets showed that they were almost identical. It says their roots are largely from Great Britain. In fact, their Italian and Greek ancestry is exact.
Truly at heart, we will always be all Italian.
Yeah. Cheers.
And as for the Python quadruplets,
I know there's something.
not only do they sing in unison, but their results were almost identical. Not the variations seen in the triplets. Their test from 23andMe showed they were 49% European and 46% West African.
That's really cool.
Now we know where we're from.
Yeah.
What is your takeaway from these tests?
We're not to a place yet where you can just spit in a cup and have every single answer that you're looking for. I think that's what people need to be aware of.
That's a really good point. That's a good way to put it. And I actually wonder if he talked even further about that, because we have 20 seconds left. There's no way they're going to be like, but when we looked at their genetic matches, they all show up as identical sisters and share the amount that you would expect with that. So kind of one of those news pieces I expected, but 20 seconds left. Let's see what they have.
Since our test, Family Tree DNA says they've improved their algorithm and they'll be implementing the new method in the next several weeks. 23andMe said the results they feature on their website have a 50% confidence level.
That's
but
true
if a customer chooses a higher level of confidence, the results will be more generic.
That's true too. And I've discussed that in many of my videos. You can change that confidence level. I think they let you do it all the way up to 90%, which most of the time when you do that, a lot of stuff basically will turn into broadly Northwestern European, broadly Southern European, just broadly European, where they can't even tell that difference. So yeah, okay, yeah, that's the end. So yeah, basically a video that I kind of expected, where they just harped on the parts of,
well, this isn't exactly the same. How could that be?
And then not explain how that is and why that's happening, which is it's these hit pieces, because, that's going to get people talking, and then people will share it. Oh, did you see this? That shows that the DNA tests are a complete scam, so we shouldn't do them. Just a complete ignorance of how the tests are done, quality and, margin of error with the tests. They aren't perfect, but the one part that they can see for sure is the relatives part, the DNA matches. And they don't show it. And all three companies that they have that as one of the tools. Ancestry, 23andMe, and Family Tree DNA all have genetic matches, and have since 2017 or whenever this was done. And at the end, they talk about how the video, or how they were updating the algorithm. Every single company has done that, so I bet you anything, if you look at all of their DNA results, they're still going to be slightly different from each one of them, but then it's going to, be different from when they originally took it. Now, one thing that I think would be interesting to discuss, and I don't know if any companies do it, is that when there are cases where, like with these tests, they can instantly see, okay, this match and this match are identical. They must be the same person. So with that, I would wonder if they would do some sort of a phasing. So phasing basically being where you're aligning what you're inheriting specifically from your mom and aligning specifically what you're getting from your dad. But somehow if you have identical triplets or twins or whatever, could there be a way of phasing their DNA kits, because there's going to be that 1% margin of error, so there will be some difference. So could they figure anything out from that? Or at the very least, when they identify, okay, these two are twins of some sort, so they're going to have the exact same ancestry, and then manipulate whatever their readings are for the ancestry admixture so that they are the same. So unfortunately, just another video that, just like I expected, just a complete and utter disappointment. Now, one interesting thing about phasing is that a lot of the companies are actually starting to try to roll out tools to help people where they can't phase. Basically, they don't have any sort of parents or ancestors who've tested. And one of those companies is Ancestry DNA, which rolled out what's known as SideView, a tool that tries to split up your admixture based on your parents. And they've also started to roll out tools which are part of that then split your matches as to which parent they're coming from. I actually discussed that in a recent video, which you can check out right here. Thank you for watching this video. I'm Jarrett, a Genie vlogger. See you in my next one.